Hello, data engineers, and welcome to the second episode about DBT tutorials. In the last video, we did the setup of the project of DBT project. We did initialize our new DBT project with the proper directory structure, configured the dbt project.yaml as well as the profile.yaml. We did establish the connection with BigQuery. We configured BigQuery adapter in the profiles.yaml, and we used the authentication with username and password for our dev environment. We did build the dataset and location settings as Europe. And finally, we did the setup of the sources. We created a simple source in our BigQuery data warehouse to use it later on in our developments. And we did check the connection with DBT using the dbt debug command, and it was successful. In this video, we're gonna complete our DBT journey. Now, we're gonna configure our sources.yaml file. This is the file that we're gonna use to establish the connection with sources in order to use them in our model, in our staging model clearly. We're gonna build the 3 layers in DBT because DBT used the best practice of building 3 layers, the staging layer, where we're gonna land our sources. Then the intermediate models is here. We're gonna build our business logic implementation, the joins, the aggregation, the calculations, all the transformations, and the Mart layer to expose for example, our fact tables and our dimensions to the users or to the dashboarding. Okay, let's go. So this is the DBT project that we built last time. We name it Data Lead DBT. And this is the structure and all folders, the models, the macros, the analysis, the seeds, the snapshots, etc. And the DBT project is the file that is the core file of our project. Okay, so for this episode, we're gonna be more interested in the models folder. Models folder is the folder where we're gonna build all our models, our staging models, our intermediate models, as well as our marts. Okay, so for now it's empty. We have only the sources.yaml file that I built earlier. So this file is necessary to establish the connection with sources. So let's see what this file contains. Okay, so this file is a simple YAML file. You can name it whatever you want, but the most important is to have this YAML structure here, the version, and then sources to indicate that this is the source file. Okay, so in this name, we're gonna name our sources. For example, for now, we're gonna name it source. And then for the best practice, you name it with your source. For example, if you have a customer data source, now you can name it customer, and wherever you have. Okay, so our schema in DBT, as we've seen last time, this is our source data. So we have 3 tables. We have raw customers, raw orders, and raw payments. So our source is this data set and this database. Okay, so the schema for now is source. So let's indicate the schema. It's source, and the tables for now, we have raw customers, raw orders, and raw payments. So let's use raw customers as the first table, and then second table and the third table. Second table is raw orders, and the third table is raw payments. And it's simple as that. and there is more configurations to do. For example, if you want to specify all the columns for each table, you can do it. And that's for now more than enough to continue our development. Let's save this file. And for the best practice, let's divide our models folder into 3 layers: the staging, the intermediate, and the Mart layer. Let me create the staging. Second folder, intermediate, and 3 folder is the Mart's layer. Okay, as we discussed, the staging layer is for ingesting the new sources that we have in BigQuery in a staging layer to use them later in the intermediate layer to do some aggregations and some business logic, and then expose them in the Mart layer for fact and dimensions. For our staging layer, let's take the example. We have the raw orders data and we have the raw payments. And then we're gonna use those tables to build an order payment table with the join between the 2 tables to have the payment details about the orders. Okay, sounds good? Okay, let's build our first staging model, which is the raw orders. So a new file. All files inside the models are SQL files, which means that they have the extension .sql. Okay, so we said that the first model is the raw orders. Raw orders .sql. Okay, second staging is the raw payments. Raw payments.sql. Okay, let's go inside the orders. For your informations, all the models in DBT are a select statement. So whenever you say to DBT, select, for example, star from raw orders, this is telling DBT that this should be a table or a view or an incremental on the data warehouse side. You don't have to create any table by yourself. You don't have to insert into the table by yourself. You just write in a select statement with your logic and DBT will do the rest. Okay? But I would like to mention that there is a best practice. The best practice is that you should start your development with a CTE, a common table expression, to specify your business logic, and then a select star from this CTE in the final statement. Okay, so let's, for example, name this CTE orders with orders as, and then open brackets, select star from, and now we're gonna use the source that we defined later. To do that, we have the source statement. Source statement is as follows. We have 2 brackets, and then we have the source statement, and open this, open the parentheses, and specify the source. We name the source, and the table that we want to use for now is the raw orders. Okay. Good. And then we have a select star from orders, which is this CTE. So this is our first staging model that simply ingests the order row data into the staging layer. Sounds good? Sounds good. Okay, let's move on and build our first DBT model. This is the most important command in dbt, which is dbt run. dbt run is running all the models inside your dbt query, dbt project. But for now, we wanted to build only these row orders. So we're gonna use this command, dbt run, but we're gonna select only one model, which is row orders. For your information, dbt is gonna build the table with the name of the model, okay, which is row orders. And let's build it. As you can see here, creation of the view is done and it's green. So we're gonna cover this in later videos, but how dbt creates tables on data warehouse. So there is multiple materialization. The materialization is how dbt is building your objects on the destination database. By default, if you didn't specify any, dbt will build a view. As you can see here, dbt for this model built a view, create view called row orders, right? So the best practice is that for the staging layer, you just build the object as views. There is multiple reasons why. First is the freshness of the data. So the view is not a table, a physical table. It's just a query that will run on the database side and build and return the data. So the view is always having the fresh data from the source because it's a view. But for the intermediate layer, the best practice is to have a table. We need physical data, okay? And same thing for the Mart, because we need physical data for the dashboarding. Because our dashboard, our Power BI, for example, will point on the Mart layer, should have physical data indexed or, for example, clustered or partitioned data in order to use it later. Okay, so let's move on to BigQuery and see in our first data set what we have. Let's refresh the content. As you can see here, we have the row orders view. Let's query it. You can see here we have data from the row customer, which is the row orders. Same thing we're gonna do for the row payments. Let me just copy this, row payments, and just change the source with row payments. Sounds good. And do the same, run dbt run and run the row payments. Great. Let me refresh. You can see here we have row payments. Good. Now we have our data in the staging layer. Let's move on to the intermediate layer. In the intermediate layer is here where we want to build our business logic. We want to build a table called, for example, order payments with all details about our payments. Let's do that. Order payments .sql. Good. So we will need in this table the two staging tables that we built earlier to do the join between them. So let's start with our first CTE, which is with orders as select star from. Now we're gonna select from our staging layer, not from the sources, because we already have the source data here in the staging layer. For that, we have a really good macro, which is called ref, It's the same thing as the source that we used here. It's a macro. And now we have the ref macro. The ref macro is referencing other models. You can use any other models inside your DBT project with the ref function or the ref macro. Sounds good? Okay. So ref and then reference the model, which is row orders. Okay. Row orders. That's it. Second CTE, which is payments as and select star from, and the same thing, we're gonna use the ref macro, well, this time with the row payments. And we have a joined CTE as, we're gonna use the join between those tables. But we need to specify the columns. So I've prepared the query before. This is the query. Maybe duck. Good. Oh, oops. Yes, so joined as. Okay, select. We're gonna use the orders as O with the alias and the payments as P. So order ID and customer ID and order date status. Let me check the columns. Order ID. For the orders, we have order ID, we have customer ID, we have order date, we have the status, and from the payment table, we're gonna use the amount. Okay, we're gonna use the callAsk function, because if we don't have, if this is null, just replace it with a 0. Okay, left join payments, and I think this is good. Okay, and we're gonna use our final select statement. Select star from our joined table. Sounds good. So let me run this. This is order payments. Go ahead. The name argument ref must be a string. Go to class. So we have something in the ref syntax. Let me search for it because maybe I missed something. Ref function. Yes, the model should be a string. Up. Same thing for this. Sounds good. I think. Let me run it once again. We have an error. So the error is unexpected identifier payments. We have a syntax error somewhere. Yes, payments here. Payments. It's the error again. Yes, payments as this one. Orders as, payments as, joined as, and then select star. Let me run it once again. Oh, same error. Syntax unexpected identifier payments. We need a comma here, and a comma here, and a comma here. So that's what is good about DBT. When you're executing, you have all details about your run. Should be good. It's not good. Trailing comma after the with clause before the main query is not allowed. Maybe we should not have this one here. Okay, good. So the table has been materialized on the database side. Let me check. Refresh content. Order. Oh, we did a typo payment. Okay, let me change this, rename it, and payment, and run again. It will change it. Good. Let me refresh content. We have another table, so we should delete the first one. Good. So the order payments, now we have this table, which is the payment details about our orders. Let's run it. You can see here we have order details about all the payment details about the orders. Let's move on to the last layer, which is the Mart. The Mart is that we're gonna build our fact orders. Okay. Well, SQL. I bet SQL. So in this one, we're gonna have with orders fact as select star from the intermediate layer this time. Okay, so ref and inside string we're gonna use the intermediate one, order payments. Okay, order payments sounds good, and a select star from orders fact sounds good. And in the Mart, let me execute this one. We have an error, unexpected select. Okay, we have a select here. Re-execute again, should be good. Good, we have our fact table orders ready to use. You may ask that we have all our data in one schema. This is not the best practice. So just for demonstration, I've built all data in one schema, but for sure we can configure this. In our project.yaml here, we're gonna have a model section to configure this, to tell DBT all the models under the staging folder, you should build them in a staging schema. And same thing for the intermediate and the Mart. That should be our next episode. So thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel to get any news from my side, and see you in the next episode.